What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mo Football, where we talk high school, grassroots, all the way to the pros when it comes to soccer, football, as you all may know. And today I have a very special episode where I have my good friend Oscar. For those of you that's living under a rock, he's one of the capos for Estel Santos, former soccer player, huge international players, which we will see very soon, also a sport agent, a dad, and we'll say drummer, soccer dads, dad girl, and all of the above. And but not to finish it, top corner talk, we'll say hot topic executive. Oscar, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing great, doing great. Man, I love that introduction. I don't know what else I can say in all this. That was great. I'm doing good. Enjoying the off season for us, basically. Enjoying family, enjoying all the time off on that end. Just working as normal and coaching my daughter as well. So it's been busy, but at the same time not busy. So.
So I guess the first question is, how does it feel not having to go early to the city, having to go to unpack equipment and so forth? How is that? Does it take a little bit of time to get used to the normal life?
I mean, yeah. So I love going to the stadium. So like that's been in my life for a long, long time. Obviously before City, and now like being so involved on the mechanisms of unpacking and doing the loading and all that stuff for our groups. um Definitely you get used to it and kind of like you miss it. You miss to be in the stadium, going to watch games and doing all that stuff, but at the same time, there's a little more time of enjoying more family things and being with the kids a little bit more. I pick up coaching my daughter's team this season, so we started in like middle of August, and we're about to be done. Tomorrow we have the last game for the slice of season. So
Oh yeah.
that's been fun and enjoying that part of the weekends where you're not that jam packed full of activities, just like one activity, and it's all about the kids. So it's good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before, and this is just the now moment. So let's bring it
Hmm.
back a little bit, all the way back where Oscar was just a small kid kicking the ball. So tell us a little bit of us about who is Oscar pre the US. Like,
For
how
the
did
US, yeah.
yes?
I mean, I've been playing soccer since I was 5 or since I remember. As normally people that they're around soccer in the soccer countries that they're just based on, like Colombia, then everybody knows that that's the only sport that kids basically play. In Colombia, that's the main sport, and everybody is born with a soccer ball in their feet. And once you start walking, you start kicking it, and such and such. So when I was 5, I wanted to be on a team, so my dad and my family basically find a tryout to an academy team. It was called
Yeah.
Academia. Um, and with my cousin, we went and present some tryouts, and then we were picked. And since then, I've been playing soccer until what was I, 22 years old when
Mm.
I ended up finishing my college career. And like not to jump on, but um back home, you practice 4 days a week, play on the weekend. So that was basically my life since I was 5, all the way until like senior in high school. Like we do not do high school sports as heavy as they're here. You stay kind of like in your academy or in your club soccer all year round. So that was my life, like just playing, 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 resting on one day of the week that normally was the Mondays, and then Tuesday through Friday you were practicing, preparing for the game of the weekend, play on the weekend, and then just get rest, do your homework, be with family a little bit, eat and watch TV or play video games, whatever you had time for when you
So
were a
you're
kid.
living almost the professional life early on. It sounded like.
Yeah, so they tried to picture it or they tried to set it up in that way since the early stages in Colombia. Like it's just when you get into a club or academy team over there, is you're committed. Like
Yeah.
you're going to school until 3 p.m. or 3:30 p.m. and then you just get out of school. Either your parents are picking you up, driving you to practice at 4:30. And that was like that quick. Like you don't have time to go home. You don't have time for anything. You just have everything packed. Um, and then practice for a couple hours and get home at 6, 7, seven
Oh boy,
thirty.
we just
You
started
know,
something with the whole 6-7 now.
I did. I was like, I almost did it just unconsciously. I was like,
Yes.
oh wait, stop.
There you
But
go.
yeah, like 7:30, you get home, shower, eat dinner. Like I say, homework, and go to bed and then repeat day after day after day. But I loved it. It created a passion on me. I wouldn't play another sport. I think there was only a little time when I can't remember the year, but baseball got a little bit big in Colombia
Yeah,
because Edgar Renteria was playing in the Major League Baseball, and he actually won a couple World Series with the Marlins.
that will do it.
So it kind of like it started pumping up, and it was like, oh, let's go, maybe we can do that. And I told like I was this close to getting to the facility to sign up for the tryout,
Mhm.
and my parents like, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, no,
Mm.
no. And we turned around like we were just right there, and we turned around. I never try out for anything else. Like I never try another sport. I knew soccer was what I wanted to do, and I mean it's my life, and it will continue to be my life until I die. So and I love it.
Yeah, and
I hate
so
it and I
that's
love
the,
it. You know.
oh, I'm there right there with you, and we're there every weekend and every week of the day. So that's the part more of your Oscar playing soccer. So for those that kind of live outside of the US, could you kind of describe them a little bit of how that soccer culture is when Colombia is playing a game? How is that experience around the country, the city? How do you guys do in your family watch that game? Could you tell them
Hmm.
a little bit of how that culture is infused in Colombia, especially for in your eyes?
Yeah. I mean, depending of what type of games, obviously they're being played. If it's like the national team playing a qualifier or like something important in the national teams, the country stops basically. Like you see, let's say like the game is on a Tuesday, you start seeing shirts, like people selling shirts on the streets like 3 days before. And it's just
Nice.
like you see them everywhere, like hanging, and it's just obviously they're not like the legal ones,
We
like the
know we
legit
know what you're
ones.
talking
We
about.
know what we're
Yes.
talking about, but
Yes.
it just like they're everywhere. There you see flags, you see scarves, all that stuff. Like people trying to obviously make a living out of it, but at the same time, it's just the passion of it. So that's very contagious. When you're a kid and you see all that images of your country, like your colors and your shirts and everything, you just like, oh yeah, the game's coming, and then when the game itself is it's the day of the game, you make plans like either like your family just gathers in one house and get a big lunch, dinner, whatever, just get ready for the game, watch all on TV. Uh, Everybody yelling at the TV at once. Um, it's something like a lot of people here don't understand. um, they all like it has happened to me even like last year when we were in the Copa America.
Mhm.
I was yelling like nonstop to the TV, and my family from here they were looking at me like, what is going on with him?" And it's like that, like back home, everybody, and you can see it. Um, and then when if you win, like if you just hear like fireworks at the like in the streets, and people like there's like neighborhood alarms, like sirens,
Oh,
and then it shows like that they're used for security. But when the game is over and you win, you just hearing everybody going woo on the deck. So it's just very passionate, very passionate.
so pretty much the whole country stops. Most of the country stops just because of watching it, and then they use the emergency sound to
To
celebrate.
celebrate.
Either ways, that's
Yeah.
so. Is there like a special meal or anything that you guys enjoy when it's a soccer national team playing, or is
Mm.
there anything that's like a so custom that you don't even think about it and it just happens to be there when you're gathering?
Well, I wouldn't say there's something official, but it's kind of like something like too easy to get. Um, there's just like a rotisserie chicken, but it's not like the rotisserie chicken they sell here in Samson, things like that. It's like there you got like the shop, like your specific restaurant that is just rotisserie chicken, and you see all this chicken going around and around
Oh
and around when you go
yes.
by them, and um, I think like that's one easy that families used to just like, hey, let's go buy two of those with the sides. You get like fried juca and French fries and potatoes and arepas and things like that. Um, that would be like something easy. The other way could be just like a Hawaiian pizza. And sorry, people, if you don't like it, sorry, don't go to Colombia because that's number one in Colombia.
Who would have thought? Unless Oscar told us, I would have. If you would have told me, I would have never guessed that it Hawaiian pizza is a big thing in Colombia. Is it?
Yeah, yeah. If you go to a pizza place, like they
No.
normally will be like Hawaiian pizza and chicken with mushrooms. That's like the
Wow.
two.
Okay. All right. So we just learned something. It looks like every time we're always learning something, especially culturally when people like to watch soccer. So that's more of the national team. Is there? We know that there's a team that you support as the club team. So
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit more about that club and how you came about it, and
Hmm.
maybe one of your favorite player of all time or now?
Yeah. So the club is Santa Fe. So Independiente Santa Fe is the name of the full name. It's from the capital. As one of the two teams in the capital. Well, there's actually four now, but the two main teams that they were always there. Um, Santa Fe is the first team champion in Colombia. Like that will never be a different story.
Right.
Our team was the first champion of Colombia, and they have a nickname. They're called the Lions, Los
Okay.
Leones. Um, with red, our rival is blue. Um,
Do you see that there's something funny on that? We're red and the other team is blue. Do you see a little correlation with our friends in the
yeah,
MLS? Yeah.
yeah,
Look, you see?
and I like it. I was like very very happy when our colors were not picked as a like a royal blue,
Okay. Yeah.
because I struggle with like for a long time I was like super against supporting a blue team because I was so into it being a Santa Fe fan.
Right.
So like when I moved here and I had the blues and I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Like it's just like it's the blues. But you start liking it. It's just a color. I get it, but it just in your back of your mind, like I know I have a team that I hate and I hate,
Yeah.
and it's a royal blue. So it is what it is. But um,
Well, but now you
what
have
else?
the other team
Obviously,
in Kansas that has blue, so you
uh,
you can continue the dislike.
I mean, I will never stop disliking the other team, anyways.
Yes.
We have some friends over here that they're fans of the other team, and
Oh,
I try to be as peaceful as possible, but sometimes it doesn't get to it. Um, but all in good spirits. Nothing try like nothing dangerous, violence, or anything like that. They just
pure
obviously
fun.
we keep that away from the game, of course.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, I mean, what else I can say about the club? How do I got into it? My dad was always a fan
Okay.
since I remember my dad having a shirt, and it's one of those old school shirts that
Mm,
it was just had the logo, like no brand, not sponsor, not just the logo, just the
nice.
crest. And I believe he still has it. I believe
Hey.
he still has it, but he definitely put that bug in our ears because obviously my brother, he's an older brother. Um, we were all Santa Fe fans, and so my brother grew up being a Santa Fe fan, and then like I followed the house, and we'll always like watch the games. We were not going to the stadium when we were kids. I know who got me into it was my brother when he was around 16 or 17 years old. He started to go to the stadium and he started to go to the ultras because he had two friends at school that they were part of the group. So he kind of like got into it. And then when I was old enough, he started taking me and he started showing me around. And I loved it. I loved it so much. It was that's where all my spirit comes from. Like that's the person like I am as a Capo in the stands and as a Santos supporter is because of that. Because when I was 13, 14 years old, my brother started taking me and just start looking all those chants and jumping and screaming and even like cussing at the rival and such and such. So because we all know that it's not as peaceful and as like the profanity comes a lot harder in
Yeah.
other countries than what it comes from here. Even like we know he comes out over here, but um, we know we hear a lot worse in other places than the MLS.
Yeah, and you brought up that whole part where I think even I can remember not in an early age going to the stadium was maybe not preferable when we're under the 10-ish, we'll say. So I'm starting to hear that a lot more. Now if I was taking it in France, now you're talking about Colombia and friends in Mexico. So it looks like you kind of get into that 11, 12, 13 is when you're starting to get your true experience on the, like you said, the ultra side of
Hmm.
things.
Yeah, I mean because at that age, like our the early age, our parents were like my parents were not as involved in like soccer. I was playing soccer, but they were not as involved into like following a team.
Yeah.
Like my mom, we put the bug into my mom like years after.
Mm.
Now my mom is like a super fan. She doesn't miss a game. She was going to the stadium every time, and now like she's watching on TV while she's here and all that. But the issue with those times, and especially I guess they were like the late '90s and early 2000s, were the safety reasons.
Okay. Yeah.
There was a lot of issues with ultras being too much and fighting in the streets and being not as organized and kind of like it just like there were, let's say, like mafia groups, let's call it that way, and in some
Fair.
point. Um so it was not safe for everybody to go. So people don't there was not that much interest, and the government was having struggles to control those things. So when you're that young, you don't want to go. When my brother started, it kind of like started shifting a little bit. It was still kind of dangerous. Um, but it was not as bad, and you just have to be smart about it. I'll tell you one experience that everybody's gonna be like, "Whoa!" Um, we we had a derby game, so everybody knows you in Colombia. Everybody knows that you have to be covered to go to the
Oh,
stadium. Do not
wow.
show colors. You can show them when you're inside, but in the streets, surroundings of the stadiums, do not show your colors. So one day we were walking with my brother to go get the bus, and we had a little bit of our colors. It was not even like we were showing our shirts, but we had a little bit of it
Right.
visible. When we're waiting for the bus, we see four or five guys like 2 blocks away from us from the other team, but they were showing their colors. But you know why they were showing their colors? Because they were those type of bad ultras that they
Yeah, we're
like to
looking for
create.
trouble.
They were looking for trouble.
Right.
So they saw us and they started running to us, and we just had to book it back to like our way to our house and like hide basically. We ran for about 5 blocks and we
Mm,
lost them. Like they were like, they're not catching us. We technically, like, thankfully, we were both athletic and we
yeah.
were both playing soccer. So like, it was like they're not catching us. But we were like, oh, it's crazy. But hey, we still cover ourselves better. Go get the bus. Go get in the stadium, and go win the game. So,
Wow. So you guys,
but
so you went home and they're like, you know what? We're just going to zip up higher and then turn around. We will make it to the game.
hmm
That's dedication right there.
yeah.
So,
So it's part of like what the culture was. Like
mhm,
I would say, like there still exists some of that bad culture
right,
that it's hard to eradicate, but it's not as bad anymore. You can see that there's more people like being able to just walk with their
right.
colors and just not be that bad. But if you want to be smart and be safe, just you cover. And I believe like in Europe it's kind of the same. Like that's why they all ultras were black and things like that because they don't want to get into those issues. But
Yeah, I think the 80s and 90s in almost all corners of the world, I can almost say it was almost that. I think it was that time period in soccer where hooligans will say was more prevalent. I would say. I grew up in Paris, so I saw the Paris Ultras also. So, and I think you, like you mentioned, the 90s kind of showed that time, but it the whole FIFA got a little bit more organized, we'll say. So things definitely have slowed down and made it more
yeah,
family oriented as well.
yeah, like they're starting to put all the penalties and issues
Oh,
to the teams and
yeah.
controlling a little bit better. But
Also, you're going to play with the empty stadiums. A lot of teams across Europe have played on
mhm,
empty stadiums just for that reason.
yeah,
And so, so you mentioned there's Mama who has that, you kind of put the soccer bug in her, and now she become a huge fan. But then now she's in the U.S. and we saw her when we went to that one. I forget who we were playing with, but she was with you guys at the Marquis celebrating in preparation of the game. So, have you shared any of those moments with her, and have she shared any, her experience for to watch an MLS game and watching Oscar as like a capo now. He's not just the little
yeah,
kid that's walking to the stadium.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, she has definitely have some comments. Um, there's funny things that she says for like our chants are sometimes not as passionate or like they
We
just
know where
don't
she
make
came
sense. But
from. Yeah, yes.
well, I mean, it's like she literally said like, well, it doesn't make sense. What not that she's understanding all the English chants, but at the same
Right.
time, it's like they're not going with the pace of the game. Like they're not seeing what's happening in the game. They're just chanting something because they want to chant something. Um, or the other one was that uh, she was like, why did they stop singing when someone fell on the ground and they were attending him?
Oh,
And I
dude.
was like. I was like, I don't know. I'm just following what they tell me to do because in any other stadium they will never stop chanting for an injured player. Like and they just keep chanting. Um, and so she was telling me that too. And there was another one that made me laugh a little bit. Oh, the PKs. If there's a PK, that's everybody's so quiet to make sure like we score a goal.
Oh,
And she was like, "Why is everybody quiet? You just cheer for your team. Like, it's he's not gonna get distracted because we're chanting." And so that was like something that made me laugh. But at the same time,
also
like,
if it was a
yeah,
PK for us, if Leuven was taking one while everybody was quiet,
yeah,
is that
because
oh
here everybody
yeah?
is so nervous. So everybody like, no, quiet, quiet. And I was like, it happened to me. That's the first time we did that. I was like, why? Why are we
Yeah,
being quiet?
yeah,
This is
distract the
not
goalkeeper.
tennis. This is not tennis.
Yeah.
We don't need to like quiet, please. No, like you chant. So that she caught up on that one really fast. I was like, yeah, I know. They stopped chanting when he's PK on favor, and just to make sure he focused on. And I'm like, I don't know why, but okay,
Hey, hey, do you see that? That's
it
why
is
we
what
need
it is.
those. That's the reason why we need some of those tips from someone that's fresh off the airplane can tell you a few things that can be changed or improved. But other than that, the whole experience, she enjoyed watching Oscar being the capo and all that.
Yeah, yeah. She likes it. Like she just kind of like laughs a little bit, kind of like, man, now you're doing this, like,
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like it's fun that I get to lead a group or try to lead a group of people to get motivated and stuff like that. So
nice, nice, nice. But there's also that one part. So that's, and we jumped a little bit ahead, but we do know also that you've had college soccer here. So can you tell us, the school you played for? And we saw your wife posted a while back, almost 12 years ago, that one picture. So, tell us the school you went to and how was that collegial soccer experience for you?
yeah, so kind of like to play the picture or put the picture out. So I played until I was 16, 17 back home. I
Right?
was playing like academy, and I wanted to continue playing when I graduated from high school. So I stayed 1 year without going to school, and I did a couple tryouts. I did a tryout for my team for Santa Fe, and I almost made it. And I know everybody's gonna say like, yeah, everybody almost made it, but they didn't. Um, the reason I say this is because I did a tryout that it was a 2 week long tryout where every day they were getting people out. So like since day one, they had, let's say they had 100 people. That next day there was 90 or 80, and they were continuously taking people out. And at the end of the 2 weeks, out of those 100, I think we were about 15 or 20 players.
Nice.
No, we were in there. Um, and all this time, like we were practicing with the under 20 team of Santa Fe.
Yeah,
And in that group, there's three players that now they're professionals. There's two of them. They played in the World Cup in 2014, like this shirt. Um, both of them they play in Europe, so like they had a good level. And I knew when I was practicing with them, it's like these guys are machines. Like
right.
they're good, they're fit, they're strong, they're going at a different pace that us, because I mean we were still not into that routine
Yes,
of,
so we
of
still
what
try
the
out.
team they had we were tracking down. But so after those 2 weeks, we were told, okay, so like next practice next week, we're not gonna bring anybody new. Nobody knew it's coming. And I was like, okay, great. So we're gonna pick from these people. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So everybody was motivated, but unfortunately, they lied to us. We
Uh-oh.
got that Monday, and there was like 30 new people, all fresh, and we play a game. And after that game, during that game, the main coach had to go and watch the main team practice,
Of
and the
course.
assistant coach went and watched the main team practice. So the only person that he was watching our game was the kid man.
That's interesting.
Very odd, yes.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the practice, they picked all the 20 new guys to stay, and they sent us all
Wow.
home. The ones that we were practicing for 2 weeks, all of us, we were sent out back,
And that was from the kid.
and that
Kid
was
man
from the
made
kid.
that decision,
The
or
kid man made the decision because we didn't even see the coach. And we're like, okay, and then we asked this like, well, the coach has been picking us day after day, and now
right?
he's not here, and then you sending us home. But obviously we were kids, so we couldn't do anything about it. Like you just put your head down and like, oh well,
Maybe
so
next time.
maybe next time. So that was like kind of like the hardest hit that I had in soccer because I think that was my entry. I think that was the moment where like if I make that team, I think I can stick. I can make it stick.
Right.
It didn't happen, so I went into school, into a university at home, and I did it for a year. And I'm like, this is I can't do it. I need to be playing soccer too. So I started looking into scholarships in the U.S., trying to have opportunities to study and play at the same time. I was doing veterinary school at
Right.
home, so I wanted to be a vet. And here, the vet schools don't give scholarships for sports. So it was very hard to find anything like that. So I started looking into something else. And that's when I got the little bug of I want to help the players that they don't have the opportunities to make it to actually make it. So I went to a sport management degree. Found I did a program that offers scholarships in the US. So like all international people pay certain amount of fee to
Right.
go and do these tryouts. And they tell you it's guaranteed to get at least 8 scholarships. But it's a little iffy because they don't tell you, oh yeah, you're gonna play. No, they're like, we're gonna find you 8 scholarships in any college in the US.
Okay.
Any. So and I'm you thinking like, oh well, if they give me a scholarship, most likely they say like you're gonna play. I'm picking you to play. Well, what happened, and that's how I got into Missouri and into St. Louis. I got the A scholarships, but they were not great. Some of
Right.
them I had to pay like $13,000 semester and things like that. I'm like, I can't afford that. Like that's
That's deep.
impossible. Yeah. So the best one was Lindenwood. That's how I got here. The best one was Lindenwood. My second best one was one in New York, and I almost picked that one because I love New York. So I was like, oh, I should just go there. There's a little bit more money and such and such. But hey, the destiny said you just gotta go to Missouri. You gotta go to
Hey,
St. Louis.
not a bad place, though.
So I made it here, and the first obstacle was that Lindenwood was just giving scholarships for people to come in and
Right.
study. The When we got here, there was about 150 new people trying to get 3 spots in the Lindenwood team.
Oof.
And great talent.
Right.
There was great talent. There was people from all over the world. Spain, France, any African, like there was people from Ghana, people from Nigeria, um, Argentinians, Uruguayans, Brazilians.
You,
Venezuelans, like you name it. They
you pretty much
were,
hit all the countries that actually world power in soccer.
yeah, I think like the only ones that they do not travel that much for this type of reasons are Germans and Italians.
Yeah, they have a pretty good setup at home, even that close
Yeah,
enough.
because the rest, like French, Spanish, even like English people, they do travel to sports a lot, like to try to get scholarships here.
Right,
Um, so I mean, that was a cultural mix that it was awesome to live with.
right.
Like just having that environment, it was like, hey, you have like your mini World Cup here,
Yep.
like
Yep.
you seeing all these people around and all the different styles, how they play, how they read the games and things like that. So um, that was fun, but at the same time, like we all knew it was gonna be impossible to get a spot in the team because they had already the team form because they recruit 2-3 years in advance,
Yep.
and then one or two that they leave or something, that's the spots that you're trying to get. And if you, for X or Y reason, you don't fit on the perspective of the coach, you're not gonna even see it. So yeah, I got invited 1 week for the preseason in February,
Mhm.
and after couple practices, and they were all indoor practices, so it was like this brand new soccer that I've never played in my
Yeah.
life, and I had to go run and back it out, run and back it out, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I played soccer all my life, but I'm playing this indoor game that I have no
I
clue what
know.
it is.
What is this turf taking?
This the turf and like the walls and like why I'm running so fast and then getting so fatigued so quick. And so after two practices in there, the coach didn't put my name in the list in the emails anymore. And that was my story there in Lindenwood. And I was like, man, what? Like I made all this trip, I made all this sacrifice. Like I left everything at home to come and play, and I'm not doing this. So I almost hit the break in the summer of 2010. That first summer when I moved here, and I almost moved back. Um, but I found a friend that found me a scholarship or a tryout in Missouri Baptist.
Okay. Nice.
So I went on a tryout, and straight up, coach was like, "Yep, I want you." We went with another friend that it was a Colombian too, and it was like, "I want you guys too." Like it's just like I need you guys to hear, and so we transferred. Scholarship was a lot better, so economically it was like a relief. Um, my mom was paying for my loans back home, so that was a huge relief for her, for us in general, and we were able to have a better setup. So I moved to Missouri Baptist, smaller school, a smaller program, but I played, and I had so much fun. I only played 3 years because I could have done my fourth if I wanted to like go straight to grad school.
Right.
But as an international, and if people if don't know, like international students, they have a limited time to stay here legally. So
They
if
do.
you either find a job and they sponsor you, or you apply for a process that give you a little time to work, and then you gotta either go back to school or go back home.
Oh yes.
So I play my 3 years. Um, First year, so my first years, our team was not good. Unfortunately, it was just not enough talent in there, but it was great. Like traveling, all these new experiences and everything that I experienced a little bit back home when I was a kid, but not as packed because this was a season of you're playing games every 3 days.
Yeah, you got a 3 month season compared to when you're talking
Yeah,
about back home, you had the whole year to play.
yeah, that was hard to adjust. Like it takes a toll on your body when you're practicing and playing every other day or every 2 days, 3 days,
Oh
because
yeah.
you play one here and like go get a practice, and then you're traveling 3 4 hours in the bus to play another one in 2 days, and um, but it was awesome. It was awesome. I had so much fun playing here, and um, I mean, not to brought myself up, but it's just like I had so much fun because I was one of the leaders of the team. I was um playing as a number six. I love having the ball, so like everything that we were playing was going through me, and he was just participating a lot. Um, People used to kind of make fun, but at the same time, like giving me the reasons. South Americans tend to flop. That's what they say,
Yeah.
right?
We're also said
Um,
Italians do that too, so it's it's normal,
but I was the player that draw more fouls
right?
in our team, and I was the player who draw more yellows and a few red ones. So I was
Why
that.
am I not surprised that Oscar was getting yellow and reds? Why am I not surprised?
I'm not the one getting them. I was the one creating them, making the other team
Oh,
get them.
well, I stand corrected then. That's different. I thought you were the one getting them.
Well, I got some. I only got one red in my career.
Okay,
I only got one red.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
So, what would be
Um,
one thing that you would tell the youth when it comes to that experience you've had from the tryouts to different schools, and then having a coach that I believe in you and play for 3 years? Was there like one lesson that you like to share if they're listening?
um, so don't give up. I guess it would be one lesson. Like if one door closes, like you don't have to just say like, okay, well, I'm not doing it anymore. You might have another chances. You might have coaches that would like this style of play, because not every coach like every style of play. So
Yeah,
um, so you can find the one. You could find the one that actually appreciates your talent, or if your lack of talent appreciates the work rate that you put in. Like there's always something that a coach might appreciate from you. So not giving up. Um, Now, if you ask me on a perspective of would I recommend youth players to go to the college route in the United States if they have the talent? No shade, no. Do not go to the
yes,
college route. Like
yeah.
100% no. If you're
Oh,
talented on high school and you have the chance to be on an academy or a semi-pro team, you got to take it. Don't waste your time in the pro and the college
you got it.
college path.
And I would think that's probably why there's that whole discussion of maybe making a few changes to help him not just play for 3 months, make it more of a year thing, so that will kind of help them a bit better. Um, but I guess yeah. So if you already know that you have reached that level, um, maybe college might not be preferable. But if you're still developing, that's probably the correct route for you to go.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'll say things like when I got rejected by home in that team, if I would have had the chances or like the ways to show myself for a semi-pro team here,
Right.
I would have probably picked that route, and I could have been more effective for me.
Well, if you were in this generation now, you probably would have had more chances because now there's a lot more summer pro teams and a lot more pro teams for you to kind of be seen and have the chances. Like us old folks, you didn't have as much to pathway. I think most of the pathway was either there's a few academies, but they're more on the East Coast and the West Coast. But then your almost guaranteed route was to make it to college or put all your chips in one basket and then go to Europe and try and
Hmm.
see if something will work out. But I think now
Yeah,
they have a lot more opportunities.
Yeah, and I never thought, like, it never crossed my mind to try to go to Europe. I think my mind was, when I was in Colombia, it's like, okay, so I'm gonna make it here. I'm not gonna try any other countries in South America because the competition is as brutal as Colombia is,
Right.
because everybody plays the same thing. So that's why, like, well, maybe United States will do it. They said like maybe the college route would do it, but because, like you said, the pro and the semi-pro path was not as big as it is right now, and you don't have the ways, like we have them right now, where scouting is different. Um, you have the transfer mark profiles, and you have, I mean, now the agent world is so big that there's so many agents out there that it just like you can find one that can kind of like push you in directions,
Yeah.
might not be successful or anything, but at least has the reach bigger than yourself. I
Oh,
never heard of anything of anybody like to help me. Like the one that would help me was the owner of the club I was playing back in Colombia, and the guy had huge preferences for others, um that they were not even in his club. So like, this is the funny story. We
oh,
played for a guy that owned a club
right,
in Bogota. It was not a main big club, but what he was doing was he was the main coach for the academy team where I started.
right,
He was a coach, and he started growing his profile and his network. Every single player that he was going through that academy, he was looking at it. Some of them, they were sending him away. He was taking the ones that they were going away and sending them to his club business.
oh,
It was like, okay, so you go here, and you start paying money for us, so my club starts growing. But the players that he wanted, or he had some specific interest, he was not sending them to that club. He was keeping them and then trying to sell them. So he was the one like doing all that business
so he was
in there.
everywhere.
And when we tried to tell like, hey, can you find us, like, can you find a little tryouts or anything, like it's like, no, I don't have anything. No, I can't do it. Like he never moved a finger for us.
So
The
yeah, so
only
he was dipping everywhere, every
Yeah.
jar he was in.
Oh, and he still does. He's now part of the Colombian Federation. Like he's one of
Oh,
the under 15 or under 17 coaches.
so he played his cards
And
right for
he,
himself.
yeah, yeah, he definitely did. And you know what, the one of the hardest part that I found is, and it tells you like who is a good person and who's not a good person in the soccer world. Because right now, and a little bit jumping and dipping in what I do on the side too, is like right now, me as an agent, I try to find players in Colombia. I try to move them, see if I can move them around, or if
Right.
he recommends any players that they're looking for any type of agency. He has never answered any message that I sent him,
Even though
and he
you've
knows who
played,
I am.
I'm sure.
He knows who I am. He knows what I did. He knows all the things I've done in my life. Play for him for 6 years in his club, like all these different things. Like, no joke, I gave you so much money in Colombia, paying my monthly fees and my travel fees and my
Right.
all that. You know what I did, and you have no, like, not
Integrity
even,
seems
not a little respect of like even like answer a text or a message from one of your used to be your players. Like that's a little disappointing. And then you find other people that you send them a message, and there's a coach that coached me for 2 maybe 3 years, and I send him a message. He answers like maybe like 2 hours later. He's like, hey, what's up? Like,
yep.
hey, long time no see. How life's doing? Like he's just like a legit going like and helping. He has tried to send me a few players, so there's and things like that. So It just that difference that when your ego and all that like just gets to your head and you just like you too much for everybody. It's kind of annoying, and
Yeah.
it happens a lot in soccer. So
It's an ugly side of the sports that not many people get to see, but also at the same time is the whole reality check of things, right? Is that everybody see the glints and glamour of what's the product on the field, but there's all of these small things behind that not many talks about. So you mentioned being a sport agent and as well. So and I know you have that soccer jersey right behind you, and you're representing her. So let's have a little quick shout out on who she is, how she's doing, and um, how you as the agent you've learned quite a few things in the sport world, soccer world.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so I represent Maddie Percorny. She's a St. Louis player. She was born in St. Louis, raised in St. Louis. I played for SLU. Um, did all her 4 years in SLU, and then she had her debut professionally in Chicago and the Chicago Red Stars. Not as like huge debut. She was kind of like practicing and doing some of the preseason games where they were international breaks or something like that. She got called to kind of like be around the squad. That's how she got involved in the professional career, and then she decided to move to Denmark to actually get a contract and get minutes going, experience, and all that stuff. And that's where I met her when she was there. I was trying to recruit some players in SLU, and a couple of players there was like, "Hey, I know this person. She's overseas, killing it, and I'm sure she would appreciate just a phone call and see what we can do." Um, I'll tell you, it wasn't easy.
Of course,
um, it wasn't easy to start working with her. It took me about a year and a half to sign a contract
persecution.
with her. And it was this part of, and I take pride of what I do in that area is I don't want to sign a contract just to sign a contract. I don't want just say I represent this player and then not being able to put you anywhere, or just a representative that I don't pay attention to what you do and I don't know anything about what you do. Um, I know a lot about Maddie. I took a year and a half of building a relationship with her, like giving phone calls, text messages. Every time like she finished a game, I was like paying attention. Even it was hard to keep track of the games in Denmark because Division Two,
Time zone.
Division One in Denmark, women's league. There's no much broadcast. There's not much of that. So it's always following like, hey, how's it going? Like, how was the game? How you do? Things like that. Even though I didn't have anything with her, like I didn't sign a contract. She's not paying me any money. She's not doing anything specifically. Like I'm just being
Yeah.
persistent on saying, hey, I'm interested in you. I'm showing that I'm interested in what you have and the talent you have. And after a year and a half, she was very successful over there. She went and played to a team that it was a tier two team, brand new team over there in Denmark, and they won the Division Two.
Nice.
They got promoted to Division One, and that next year they won the Division One.
Wow. First year move up,
First,
and then you win it all.
and then in that end, she was going into a transition of a contract. So she was. It came to the point like, hey, now I need something. I need representation because I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to have a conversation with the team and say negotiate a contract and get the best of what I can.
Yeah.
So she knew that I've been trying and I've been showing her that I'm not here for her money. I'm not here to charge her anything. I'm here to help. I that's why I that's what I do. So she's like, "Hey, I'm in this situation. What can you do?" And I was like, we can do this. We're gonna negotiate for you. We have a team. I don't work by myself. I work in an agency. A Sprint MG is the agency I work for, and my boss, John Print, has been doing this for a while. Um, and he's in overseas. He's in the UK. Like it's all that type of scenario, and it's like, we'll help you. We'll help you negotiate. The only thing that we got to do is just sign a contract. You will read it. You will know what you're signing. We're
Yeah.
not gonna hide anything from you. You're anything like that. We're here to work for you. Um, and she decided to go for it. We signed an extension contract with her, with the club in Denmark. They won the championship again.
Nice.
So they were like back to back to back, from the second division, first division, and then way back to back. And that transition, they played Champions League qualifiers. The first year, they got eliminated in the round of qualifiers. The second year, they actually qualified for the group stage.
Nice.
Um, and it was so awesome. I mean, I that that was one of the things like I'm very proud of the work that we put together with her. Obviously, that was all her. Like we put together as we supported her, we were on her 20, like helping and morally and all this stuff. But that group was a great group of girls. They were all working hard. There's actually four, maybe now there's three, but now there's three on the NWSL. Um,
Nice.
some of them have moved back up and down, but they were a good group, and they qualified to the group stage, playing Barcelona, playing
Okay.
Arsenal, and Hoffenheim. And I think that
Top
was
teams.
that was for me like the coolest thing I could say. I represent a player that is playing this, and
Champions League.
I was very very happy for her. She performed great over there. Barcelona was obviously outstanding. Like watching
Yeah.
the game was incredible on the TV. Just watching how they ping play double back and forth, and just Maddie's team was just chasing. It's like
Chasing
they can
shadows.
keep up.
Yes.
It's just crazy. But Maddie got to score the first ever goal for her club in Champions League. She scored a goal against Arsenal.
Can't take that away ever.
Yeah. Um, and then, well, they didn't make it through the stage and all that. So just to make,
Right?
obviously, I'm
With all
extending
these
the
teams,
story here, but
well, teams with that, if you're in that group with that, those teams, all three of them, you have to have something very magical to happen
very
to,
special. Yeah.
yes, to get out.
Yeah. I mean, they performed well. I think they pulled one win
Right? Not too shabby.
from them. Yeah. I think they pulled one win against Hoffenheim, if I'm not wrong. Um, but yeah,
Klaus team.
thanks to that, three of their players got their eye in the NWSL. Um, one is Kira Caruza. She's a Irish international player. She played for, like I said, the national team. She has
Right?
been. She went to the World Cup this past year or 2 years ago. Um,
So she's played
they
with
she
some
played.
great
Yeah, she
international
has
players.
played. Yeah, she has done great. There were some other younger players that they were not quite ready to move internationally, and now like one of them moved to the USL Super League this
Okay.
year, and then
Nice.
now she's back in Italy with Napoli. So I know like Maddie's talent and the type of work that she puts in the field, you can have that with anybody. Like she works and she works, and that's one of the things like you always call my attention. Like she's always willing to just be that workhorse that your team needs. And then she has an amazing quality. Like she can finish with left and right. She can take shots from long range and stuff. So after that small contract, we decided like, okay, we need to make this the next step, and we decided we brought her to find an opportunity in the NWSL for the World Cup. They
Nice.
have some replacement, international replacement spots. Now, when the players in the World Cup leave, the NWSA keeps going,
Right.
so they need to cover those spots with players. We found that opportunity. She took it. She had a great um, 2 months where, well, like a month where the internationals were out.
Mhm.
And then when they came back, she was still performing. She was still doing good, and she earned the extension of the contract to finish the year. And then they offer her an extension contract for a couple more years. Um,
Nice.
so she's been playing there. She's This is her third year, and unfortunately, this year she had an injury that it was a season-ending injury
Ooh,
since the beginning of the season, so she was not able to play. But she's back, and she's hoping to do the best for next year. So we're in that business right now. We're obviously I cannot say what's happening on her on her end, but
top secret.
we're in that business. We're moving things. We're making things happen for her because she deserves it. She has worked hard, and all that we want is for her to get back in the field and play more and enjoy as much as she can.
Absolutely. So yeah, so now so hopefully she has a speedy recovery, and maybe we have to now keep an eye on her and see what she does when she comes back in play. So now, so
So
we
she's
just went.
ready. She's ready to play. She's
Hey,
back.
all right. So
Um,
let's see what she can show us. So we went from the small Oscar from Colombia begins to play club academy soccer to mobile as a soccer player, and then changed to a sport agent. But now the one that everybody knows who Oscar is the Capo, STL Santos and CDSC. So before we close out, could you tell us a little bit of like, has that brought back some of that passion of like you being on the field? Now you're at the stand and cheering pretty much, and being as a captain like you've been before, as a leader as you are now, you are as a capo, as a leader that's kind of leading the supporter section to those chants. So tell us a little bit of how that experience is for those that are wondering.
yeah, I mean, I always have the love of the sport. I was missing it when we didn't have a team in St. Louis. So when we started on 2023, I was a season ticket holder for one of the up seats in the 2022 221 section.
Right.
Um, so I was up there behind the supporters. Um, and after like 2 games or 3 games, I'm like, I don't fit here. I just don't fit here. I don't feel comfortable. Like, I'm yelling, I'm screaming, I'm
Yelling and
saying bad,
screaming. Yes.
saying more things,
Yeah.
and there's people around that they're looking at you weird, or there's obviously kids around, and I'm like, I mean, I might say like if you take your kids to a soccer game. That's I mean, this is my mentality, and everybody can think differently. But if I take my kids to a stadium, I'm gonna explain them that if you hear a bad word, you're gonna hear them. Just don't repeat them.
Mm, sure. You better not.
But but I know I'm taking them to that environment. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be mad to the person who's saying the bad word because he's saying it in front of my kids because
Sure.
I'm taking my kids there. I'm not gonna make you behave differently just because I have my kids.
They just know better.
So exactly. So
Yes.
that's me. So when I was there, like I was feeling like I just don't fit here because everybody's like looking at me, like everybody's like, and there was kids and the parents are like looking at her like, why is this person doing this? And like, so I was like, we have to find a way to just be down there. I'm sure down there, there's not gonna be. that type of looks and things like that. So I started looking around and I found Santos.
Yeah.
I found a website. I found a promotion for their Fiesta football that originally was a Befas. So we started parking up Befas, going there and started looking. Um, and after just one game, I was like, "This is where I need to be. Like this is with just this bunch of Latinos going crazy, passionate, creating chants and bringing a lot to the group." And I just started getting involved, and I started finding tickets and being able to be down there. Um, and I guess just because of my passion, it just started growing so much where everybody in my group, everybody recognizes like how loud I am and how
Just
how
being
much
Oscar, that's
I
all.
just do. So first we started with the flag. So I was one of the flag members in our groups where I always had a flag and I was waving all the game and screaming and chanting. Then I ended up moving into the big flag for the goals and being in the first row. And this year we started to like, hey, like we need to have more of us, more of representation of like passionate people to get to lead our chants and stuff. So I started to make it more into my ways into being a couple. At the beginning, I didn't want to be on the cages and be on the stands and stuff. I just wanted like, hey, I can just be loud whatever I
Right.
am. Like it's not a need for. Um, so it doesn't really change my life. If you put me on the stage or the cages, or you don't put me on the cages, I don't mind it. I don't care. I know I'm gonna be loud and I'm gonna be louder than a lot of people, and I'm
Mm,
gonna be yelling and screaming wherever you put me. So, but I do want to make not make people, but like make people realize that we all need to chip in
right.
to have a great supporter section. We all need to chip in. There's no a looks of I'm better than you. I'm not gonna sing or I'm just here for the pictures. It's more of if you're here, let's sing, let's chant, let's move, let's jump around with with the person next to us. Like it just make the experience a lot better, but at the same time with a purpose. And the purpose is supporting the team. We're not there.
Absolutely.
We're not there for take pictures and take props. And I I respect the people that want to dress up differently every game. No, I'm not there for that. I'm not there for any of that. I want to go and cheer and chant and make sure that our team is feeling the support. And that I'm one of the believers that if you have a good supporter group that is always pushing you hard, your team's gonna perform.
Absolutely.
So far, so far, City is not taking in that that hint yet, but it will build upon. But it's better playing with someone that is yelling at you and screaming at you in a good way
Right.
than people booing you or people whistling you or just being a quiet stadium just because you're not bringing the things to the table. So that's
Yeah.
my idea.
And good energy is contagious. So if they see that there's that pressure, then it's that 12 men stereotype that they mentioned. It always works out. But with that say, we went all the way from Colombia to St. Louis. Who would have thought that Oscar will have ended in St. Charles, Missouri to begin with? Um, but I think that's even better than some of the people I've interacted with. Some have ended up, no disrespect to like to Nebraska. Um, Probably you and I from Colombia and from France would have never heard of Nebraska unless we lived here. So
Right.
we're glad that you decided to go to Lindenwood first because it's closer to St. Louis.
Yeah. Yeah. Um and I'll tell you like my entire life's been around soccer and if it wasn't for soccer, I would not be married with my wife. I'll
Uh,
tell you. Yeah, my wife
yes.
was a soccer player too at Missouri Baptist.
There you
We
go.
met there and we traveled together for the games. We started like seeing each other, not as a couple, but seeing each other across the
Right.
room, across the fields and things like that, and then slowly trickle into building a life together. So I mean, I owe that to obviously the school and soccer and her, but we built this because we met on a soccer field. Like our first words was my first time I went to watch the women's team play
Right.
a preseason game at St. Charles Community College, and I went and I said I got to the bench and everybody was looking at me like I was the new guy. I was
Right.
like the new foreign guy that people haven't seen, and um, that was the first time I spoke to her. She was in the bench getting ready to start the game. Um, and the rest obviously is story. And she still plays. She plays twice a week normally.
Nice.
Um, she plays more than me now. I mean, obviously, I have a broken knee right
Yeah.
now, but it's gonna be fixed.
He's like, that's gonna be fixed.
It's coming. It's coming soon. Actually, I'm getting it fixed on Monday. So,
But hey,
um,
I
but
that's
yeah.
it is. Yes.
So that was another part. And one thing that we didn't touch in is like I was also a coach. I'd been coaching for
Right
10
on.
years, 10, 12 years now. I started coaching when I was in college and I was playing. So my time off was like going and coaching kids. I took a group of kids from 6 years old all the way to 15-year-olds. Then I took a break. I ended up coaching Missouri Baptist women's team as an assistant coach for a year and a half or 2 years. That was a great experience. I think that was one of
Yeah.
my best coaching experience I had. It's just being able to actually teach soccer to grown-ups and
Yeah.
knowing that they're understanding what you're trying to picture, what you're trying to tell them, um, instead of like kids, because kids you still build
So,
them
I mean,
them as players, as skills, and they're not fully understanding. It's like, hey, we gotta play a 4-3-3, and you gotta move this way or that way. Like kids are not geared that way
not yet.
until they 15, 16, 17 years. Like you as a 13-year-old here, you have to track the runner here, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm looking at the ball. If I get the ball, I can shoot it. That's basically what a 13-year-old will tell you. Well, in college, you can actually teach them moves that people don't think about. Um, what the tactics represent, how
Yep.
different tactics make different moves, and how you gotta play games different ways for another rivals, and how to explode an area that is weak for the other team. And so that was very fun to do it, and just even as an assistant coach. um I would in a heartbeat do it again. I
Mhm.
would have never left it if it was actually an affordable profession
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
States.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not so
um
much now.
because I mean, I'm not saying only that the payment that I was getting, it was I got my grad
Yeah.
school for free. So that's amazing.
Yep.
But after that, I was like, can you pay me? How much can you
Mhm.
pay me? I'll stay. Nope. Okay, I gotta go.
Yeah, unfortunately, you gotta reach a certain level for those sports, and that's why a lot of them do coach women and men just to be able to justify coaching it. So I think we might have to bring this one back because I think we've not talked enough of Coach Oscar, but that maybe that's another episode of bringing Oscar so he can talk about how great of a soccer coach he is. Right.
I have learned a lot. I think what I'll tell you this funny thing. So when I first coached kids,
Right.
that was my first experience. There were 6 or 7-year olds. I was that coach that I was like, yelling and screaming and trying to correct
Mm,
them for every single thing. And then I was like, through the years, I still with my daughter's team that I'm coaching right now, like I do yell them and trying to get them on places.
yeah.
But my yelling before was different. It was more like the passionate but mad, like you're not doing it right or doing it like these ones are more like no, go that way, no, move this way, like
You
those
know,
kind
just
of
you're just directing loudly.
right, right.
Yes.
It's not there's not the yelling of like you're doing bad things.
No,
It's more of
it's
like pay attention, you can do it, go that way.
I've been there and I've been there. But so I think that's we probably will have to get back to Coach Oscars because we don't talk enough of that. But with that said, Oscar, definitely appreciate the time, and I've definitely learned quite a lot more about my co-host of the Talk Corner Talk, which we're coming soon again because we have a lot to talk about it. But for those that wants to know a little bit more about Oscar and follow you on social medias, could you tell them, where they can get a hold of you
Yeah. I basically use Instagram and Facebook.
and Blue
Blue
Sky?
Sky is kind of like my other one, but I don't get into it that much. Because when I get in, when I post or say something, I end up discussing with people for an entire day, and I just really don't have the time for it. So,
Yes,
but I mean, I try to
I know what you
not
mean.
like I try to not post like crazy stuff, but sometimes the opinions get different ways. But anyway, so yeah, Instagram is my kind of like my main what I use for pictures and stuff, and then Blue Sky I make comments and stuff like that. So I think they're all Oscar Rojas GU. I think they're the most, but um
I'll put it in the comments so that
yeah,
people that want to have long conversation about soccer with Oscar, they know how to find you.
yeah, yeah. I'm always open to do it. I like to talk about soccer. Clearly, I've been talking about myself for an hour and 20 minutes.
That's that's the whole point. It's Oscar. I know you thought you didn't have enough to talk about, but yes, this show is for you guys to for the rest of the world and St. Louis City to know a little bit about yourself. So it definitely I've learned quite a lot. So hopefully everybody has too. And as always, the normal spiel. If you like, subscribe to more football. But with that said, we'll see you all soon, especially with Top Corner Talk with Oscar and myself
Mm,
very, very soon.
yeah, I
Peace.
appreciate it, Mo. Thanks for doing it.
Of course.